The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is one of the most tactical and eye-opening books ever written on power, how to gain it, maintain it, and protect yourself from those who wield it. In today's video, we'll break down Greene's masterpiece, revealing the hidden rules of power that shape the world around you whether you realize it or not. To help you on your journey to power, grab the 48 Laws of Power Blueprint, a complete guide packed with summaries, historical stories, reflective questions, and exercises to help you implement each law. Plus, it includes detailed mind maps split into 6 categories, so you can focus on the areas that matter most to you. Now, there's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Law 1. Never outshine the master. In 17th century France, Nicolas Fouque was King Louis XIV's finance minister. When France's prime minister died, Fouque saw an opportunity. He hoped to take his place. But instead of playing it smart, he made a fatal mistake. He tried too hard to impress the king. Fouque hosted the most extravagant party France had ever seen at his Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte. It was a spectacle of wealth and power, but it backfired spectacularly. The party was so grand, so impressive, that instead of being flattered, King Louis XIV felt overshadowed. The next day, Fouque was arrested, accused of embezzling state funds. The charges were largely false, but it didn't matter. The king had already made up his mind. Fouque was sentenced to life in solitary confinement, spending his last 20 years in a prison cell high in the Pyrenees Mountains. Never make those above you feel inferior. Compliment them, support them, but never outshine them. Power is fragile. Threaten it once, and you may never recover. But what if you could use this law to secure power, instead of losing it? That's exactly what G.O. Galileo did in the 1600s. He was one of the greatest scientific minds of his time. But like many scholars, he faced a constant problem: funding. He needed wealthy patrons to support his research, so when he discovered the moons of Jupiter, he didn't just announce it. He strategically dedicated the discovery to the Medici family, whose royal symbol happened to be Jupiter. This flattery worked perfectly. The Medici saw Galileo's discover as proof of their divine right to rule. In return, they rewarded him with a prestigious position as their official court mathematician and philosopher, securing his financial and political stability. Two men, one ignored this law and lost everything, while the other mastered it and thrived to apply this law. Make your superiors feel secure. If your boss is insecure, don't flaunt your intelligence. Make them feel like the genius. Compliment their ideas, ask for their advice, and let them take credit when necessary. Flatter with strategy. Just like Galileo, align your achievements with your superior's interests. Make them feel like your success is an extension of theirs. Know when to break the law. If your superior is a fatting star, weak, and losing influence, it may be time to subtly outshine them. Position yourself as the natural successor, but do it care. Why? Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. In the 9th century, Byzantine Emperor Michael II made a fatal mistake. He placed too much trust in a friend. Years earlier, while visiting the royal stables, a wild horse broke loose. A lowly stable hand named Basil risked his life to subdue the animal and save the emperor. Impressed by his courage, Michael elevated Basil from obscurity. He showered him with gifts, made him his closest advisor, and eventually promoted him to co-emperor. But power changes people. Basil was no longer satisfied playing the loyal friend. He wanted the throne. And one night, the same man who once saved Michael's life turned against him. He orchestrated Michael's assassination and seized the empire for himself. Friends can be unpredictable. They grow envious, entitled, and when given too much power, often forget how they got their enemies. On the other hand, are far more predictable. They have something to prove, which makes them easier to manage. Just look at the Song dynasty. For centuries, ruling China was a death sentence. A bloody cycle kept repeating. A general would overthrow the emperor and take the throne. Fearing betrayal, he would execute his fellow generals, but soon new generals would rise, overthrow him, and repeat the process. But then in 960, a general named Xiao Quangan, later Emperor Taisu of the Song dynasty, did something different. Instead of executing his fellow generals, he invited them to a lavish banquet. There he made them an offer: retire in wealth and luxury. Instead of living in constant fear of assassination, they agreed. And just like that, Emperor Tao ended centuries of violent coups without shedding a drop of blood. His dynasty lasted over 300 years. Both Michael II and Emperor Taisu reveal a crucial truth: power is not about loyalty, but about control. Friends, no matter how devoted, can turn on you when given too much power. Enemies, on the other hand, are already on guard, which makes them easier to manage. In fact, history shows that an enemy who becomes an ally is often more reliable than a friend. They know their past actions put them at risk, so they work harder to prove their loyalty. To apply this law, be wary of friends. They may appear loyal, but familiarity breeds entitlement, and entitlement breeds resentment. They rarely challenge you openly, but that doesn't mean they support you. Their betrayals are often sudden and unpredictable. Hearing friends can weaken your authority. They blur the line between personal and professional, making it hard to enforce discipline. Use enemies to your advantage. Enemies are valuable if you have none. Create them. A leader without opposition becomes blind to their weaknesses. They sharpen your focus, push you to be strategic, and give you a clear enemy to rally against. An open enemy is predictable. You know where they stand, but a hidden enemy disguised as a friend is far more dangerous. Loyalty is a myth. Strategy is everything. If you want power, stop relying on loyalty. Keep friends for friendship, but work with the skilled and competent, even if they were once your rivals, because at the end of the day, trusted friend can betray you in an instant, but a well-managed enemy will always behave exactly as expected. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. In the 19th century, Otto von Bismarck served in the Prussian parliament. At that time, many politicians wanted to go to war with Austria, immediately believing Prussia's army to be superior. but Bismarck knew two things: the king was against war, and Prussia wasn't ready if he had revealed his true intentions. Waiting until Prussia was fully prepared, he would have faced opposition from both the king and the public, so instead he played a different game. He pretended to oppose war entirely. He praised Austria, condemned war as madness, and urged diplomacy. This deception bought him time while he quietly strengthened Prussia's military. Then, when the moment was right, he struck Prussia, crushed Austria, unifying Germany under Prussian rule. As a result, Bismarck secured his position as Prussia's prime minister. Power comes from controlling what others know about you. If people can't predict your next move, they can't stop you. But if you reveal too much, you give them the chance to prepare against you. That's why the key to control is misdirection, leading people to believe one thing while you secretly pursue another. So how do you do it? Distract with false desires. Silence can be suspicious. If you refuse to share your thoughts, people will start guessing, and often they'll guess correctly. Instead, talk openly, but about the wrong things. Bismarck didn't stay quiet. He distracted people with false ambitions. You can do the same: express fake goals, make misleading statements, flood people with irrelevant details. This serves three purposes: you appear honest and trustworthy, you keep your real onions hidden, and your rivals waste time chasing illusions. You smoke screens. The best deception is hidden in plain sight. A friendly gesture, a harmless appearance, or even an air of humility can all be perfect smoke screens. People focus on what seems ordinary and unthreatening, never suspecting something deeper is happening. Appear weak and unthreatening. The most powerful figures in history mastered the art of being underestimated. If you seem dull, harmless, or incapable, people will stop watching closely. And when they least expect it, that's when you make your move. People instinctively believe what's in front of them. They assume words match actions. But if you can control what they see, you can control what they believe. In war, business, and life, the less they know, the more power you have. Law 4, always say less than necessary. Louis XIV was a master of controlled speech, known for his cryptic, carefully chosen words. He kept quarters guessing and second-guessing his intentions. The less he spoke, the more power he had. His silence created mystery and authority, forcing others to reveal their true thoughts, valuable information he could later exploit. Louis XIV understood a simple truth: when you speak less, you maintain control. If people don't know your position, they can't manipulate or pose you. When you speak too much, the less in control you appear. You risk saying something foolish, or even worse, revealing your weaknesses. Even simple words, if vague or open-ended, will seem more important and powerful. So how do you wield the power of silence? Make people reveal more about themselves. One of the most powerful effects of silence is that it makes people uncomfortable. When you stop talking, they feel the pressure to fill the space. And when they talk, they reveal more than they intended: thoughts, intentions, and sometimes even weaknesses. People will hang on to your every word. When you talk less, people listen more carefully. Silence compels attention. They begin to interpret and analyze every word you say, often assigning more meaning to it than you intended. Once words are spoken, you can't take them back. Remember, words are powerful, but they also come with consequences. Once you've spoken them, you can't erase them. The more you speak, the higher the chance you'll say something foolish. For example, sarcasm may feel good in the moment, but it can backfire and damage relationships. The more you say, the less impressive you seem when you try to impress people with your words. The opposite often happens. Even if your ideas are brilliant, speaking too much dilutes their impact. By saying less, you leave people curious about what you really mean. Your brevity gives your words an air of hidden wisdom, something they have to ponder. They'll respect you more for keeping them guessing. Saying too much can destroy you. In 454 before the Common Era, the Roman military hero Coriolanus was admired by all for his battlefield victories, but when he ran for Senate, his arrogance and constant talking turned people against him. The more he spoke, the more he alienated others. His reputation crumbled, and he was eventually banished from Rome. Coriolanus couldn't control his words, and it cost him everything. This shows that speaking too much can't only diminish your power, it can destroy it. Law 5, so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. In Renaissance Italy, Cesare Borgia didn't just rely on military skill or strategy. His greatest weapon was his fearsome reputation. His cruelty was legendary, and he made sure people believed he would stop at nothing to achieve his goals. This image alone kept many rivals at bay. Borgia understood that perception can be as powerful as action. His reputation was both a shield protecting him from betrayal and a sword intimidating enemies before they even challenged him. Your reputation is one of your greatest assets. People judge based on appearances long before they truly know. Your strong reputation acts as both a shield and a weapon, protecting you from scrutiny, while amplifying your strengths, making you more influential. A well-crafted reputation commands respect, authority, and sometimes even fear. But once it's damaged, you become vulnerable, an easy target for those waiting to tear you down. At the start, you need to establish a reputation based on one standout quality, whether that's generosity, honesty, or cunning. This key trait will make you memorable and give others something to talk about. Once established, spread it far and wide, but build slowly and carefully, ensuring a solid foundation. But beware, once you've established your reputation, you must protect it at all costs. Anticipate attacks on it, and be strategic in defending it. Here are 4 ways to safeguard and grow your reputation. First, never appear desperate when your reputation is challenged. Don't lash out emotionally. Doing so only shows insecurity. Instead, stay composed and don't engage in petty attacks. Desperation weakens your power, while calmness commands respect. Second, spread rumors about your rivals. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Attacking someone else's reputation can be a potent weapon, especially if you have less power than they do. The key is to subtly spread rumors to sow doubt, but don't seem petty or vengeful. The goal is to create suspicion, not to appear desperate. Third, don't go too far in attacking someone's reputation while spreading rumors can be effective. Don't overdo it. If you attack too aggressively, it may damage your own reputation more than your rivals. Fourth, use humor or gentle mockery. Once you have a strong reputation, you can use subtler tactics like humor or mockery. A clever, light-hearted jab at your rival can be incredibly effective without resorting to harsh slander. Think of it like the lion toying with the mouse. You're in control, and you're on the defensive now. Let's imagine your reputation is tarnished. No worries, this isn't permanent. The key is strategic association. Align yourself with those who embody the image you want to project. J.P. Morgan, for example, improved his reputation by collecting art and associating with great artists like Rembrandt. His name became linked to cultural prestige, elevating his status by surrounding yourself with respected persons. Their reputation will rub off on you, helping to reshape your own law. 6. Court attention at all cost. Thomas Edison knew that being a genius wasn't enough. You had to be seen. He wasn't just an inventor, he was a showman. He staged electrifying public demonstrations and made bold claims about future technologies, robots, thinking machines, things he never intended to build. But that didn't matter. The public was hooked. Meanwhile, his rival Nikola Tesla may have been the more brilliant scientist, but he lacked Edison's mastery of attention. And in the game of power, perception often beats reality. In 1915, rumors spread that Edison and Tesla would share the Nobel Prize. When the committee approached him, Edison rejected the offer because accepting it would have placed Tesla's name alongside his, and to Edison, attention wasn't something to be shared. It was a resource to be controlled. Everything in life is judged by appearance. If no one sees you, you don't exist. Most people fade into the background, afraid to stand out, afraid to be noticed. But if you blend in, you're powerless. The solution is to become a magnet for attention. Stand out, appear larger, more intriguing, make them look. But no one is born knowing how to attract attention. It's a skill you must learn. Let's talk about 6 powerful strategies to ensure your name and ideas outshine the competition. First, attach your name to the sensational and the scandalous. If no one is paying attention to you, create a controversy. P.T. Barnum, the legendary showman, planted fake scandals about himself in newspapers because he knew that in the game of attention, even bad press is better than being ignored. However, use this tactic sparingly. Once you have the public's eye, constant controversy can backfire, but in the beginning the quality of attention doesn't matter, only that you have it. Second, keep reinventing yourself. Attention is fleeting. If you don't evolve, people will get bored and move on. This is why pop stars constantly change their image. Reinvention keeps you fresh, unpredictable, and in demand. Third, be unpredictable. Predictability makes you invisible. People feel in control when they can predict your actions. Take that away from them, and you gain power. Fourth, create an air of mystery. In a world where everything is overshared, Mr. is irresistible. Never reveal everything at once. Leave people guessing. A little secrecy makes you fascinating. Mystery forces people to pay attention. They analyze your every move, trying to figure you out. And the more they wonder about you, the more you stay on their mind. Fifth, being attacked is better than being ignored. Most people fear criticism. They try to avoid controversy. Big mistake. Attention is power, and controversy fuels attention. Don't fear criticism. Use it. If they're attacking you, it means they're paying attention. Sixth, appear larger than life. People don't admire ordinary, they admire legends. Never downplay what makes you different. Amplify it. Own use it to your advantage. If you blend in, you disappear. If you stand out, you rise. Law 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Thomas Edison, the so-called great inventor, built his legend not just on innovation, but on taking credit for others' work. In the late 1800s, Edison hired Nikola Tesla, a brilliant scientist, to improve his outdated electrical generators, promising him a $50 reward. But when Tesla completed the work, Edison laughed and told him, "You don't understand American humor." Tesla was furious. He quit and later developed alternating current, a superior electrical system. Tesla, though a genius, never played the game of power. He focused on invention, not influence. And in the end, he died penniless, while Edison became a legend. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards visibility. It's not who works the hardest, but who claims a spotlight. Never do for yourself what others can do for you. Here's 4 reasons why. First, burnout is for the weak. If you try to do everything yourself, you'll burn out, but people admire those who seem effortlessly efficient, almost godlike in their abilities. Second, you don't have every skill. Use people who do. Even the most talented people have weakness. The solution: find those who have the skills you lack and use them. Third, stand on the shoulders of giants. Some of history's most celebrated figures weren't original creators, they were brilliant borrowers. Shakespeare borrowed plots from older writers. Picasso copied techniques from other artists. Steve Jobs didn't invent the personal computer, he took existing ideas, improved them, and made them his own. The real genius isn't the one who creates from scratch, it's the one who knows what to take and how to use it. Fourth, sometimes sharing credit is the smartest move. Taking credit is crucial, but sometimes giving credit strategically can give you even more power. Take Henry Kissinger, the U.S. Secretary of State under Nixon. He was the mastermind behind America's historic negotiations with China. Kissinger understood a crucial truth: sometimes letting others shine in the short term ensures you keep your influence in the long run. Law 8, make other people come to use bait if necessary. In 1600, during Japan's greatest civil war, Tokugawa Ieyasu, a patient and cunning warlord, faced Mitsunari Ishida, a powerful enemy, but instead of striking first, Ieyasu waited. He planted spies, spread false rumors, and bribed allies, turning them against their leader. Slowly Ishida's position crumbled from within. When Ishida finally launched an attack, his army was already weakened from internal betrayal and exhaustion. Yasu crushed him at the Battle of Sakahara, securing his rule over Japan. Sunu once said the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. Powerful people don't chase, they track. They understand that making the first move often leads to mistakes. By waiting, observing, and luring others into action, they control the game. Here's how to make others come to you on your terms. First, keep others reacting. Never react yourself. The moment you react, you lose control. Instead of chasing opportunities or enemies, set the stage and force them to play by your rules. Create temptation. An offer they can't refuse. Make them think they're in control until they've walked right into your trap. Stay calm when they move out of desperation. You strike with precision. Second, bait your enemy, then strike. People act out of greed, ego, or fear. Learn to exploit this. Greedy people dangle wealth. Arrogant people challenge their pride. Fearful people threaten their security. Third, control the battlefield. If you fight on someone else's terms, you lose. Always maneuver the battle onto your ground. Choose the setting. Let them come to your arena. Control the timing. Strike when they're vulnerable. Make them feel safe, then take it all away. Fourth, exploit your opponent's weakness. Everyone has a flaw. Find it and press on it. Impatient people rush into traps. Prideful people refuse to back down. Desperate people make mistakes. The most powerful leaders don't fight battles head on. They manipulate emotions, create illusions, and make others destroy themselves. Fifth, master your emotions. Never act out of anger. Aggression feels powerful, but it makes you predictable. If you let rage control you, you're playing into someone else's hands. Remember, the calmest person in the room holds the most power. Patience forces others to make mistakes first. Emotional people are easily manipulated. Law 9, win through your actions, never through argument. In the 17th century, the Catholic Church insisted that the earth was the center of the universe. Challenging this belief meant risking persecution. Many tried to argue against the church and failed, but instead of openly arguing, Galileo played a smarter game. Instead of debating, he built telescopes and invited powerful figures to see the evidence for themselves. He didn't argue, he demonstrated. And once people saw the truth, they couldn't unsee it. Winning an argument might feel good in the moment, but the victory is an illusion. Sure, you might win the debate, but you stir up resentment, ego wounds, and lingering hostility. Instead of changing minds, you create silent enemies. As Balthazar Gracian put it, the truth is generally seen, rarely heard. Instead of proving a point, prove results. Actions persuade, words don't. Of course, there are moments when an argument can be useful, but not to prove you're right. Instead, use it strategically to confuse, deceive, or control the situation. Take Victor Lustig, the infamous con artist. He once sold a fake money print box for $10. When the buyer realized he'd been scammed, he came back furious. Now, Lustig could have argued, he could have defended himself, but that would have made him look guilty. Instead, he played dumb. He acted shocked that the machine wasn't working and even blamed the buyer for misusing it. Then, like a true manipulator, he offered to return the money, knowing full well he had already won the psychological battle. Here are 3 ways to win an argument without fighting. Feign ignorance. Act confused to shift the burden onto your opponent. Overwhelm with details. Use technical jargon to make them doubt themselves. Offer a fake solution. This makes your opponent feel like they've won even when they haven't. Law 10, infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Some people don't just bring misfortune upon themselves, they spread it to everyone around them. Lola Mones was one of those people. A fiery Irish courtesan, she had a way of enchanting powerful men and ruining them. King Ludwig of Bavaria was one of her many victims. Unable to resist her charm, he showered her with wealth and influence, but her presence brought chaos. Protests erupted. Bavaria spiraled into crisis, and his people turned against him. By the time Ludovic realized the damage, it was too late. Forced to abdicate, he lost everything. He later admitted, I was bewitched by her. Just as a disease spreads from person to person, so do emotions, mindsets, and misfortunes. Some people radiate negativity, and if you let them into your life, their chaos becomes your chaos. The unfortunate often draw misfortune onto themselves, and they will pull you down with them. They come in different forms, but the signs are clear. Drama follows them everywhere. Broken relationships, ruined careers, endless complaints. They drain your energy. No matter what you do, they're never satisfied. They're always the victim. Nothing is ever their fault. They live in crisis mode, constant instability, bad decisions, and self-sabotage. They pull you into their problems, whether through guilt, manipulation, or sheer emotional weight. So when you encounter one, just run. Don't argue with them, don't try to help them, and never introduce them to your friends. You'll only spread the infection. Some people can't be saved, and trying will only bring you down. Instead of wasting energy on the wrong people, focus on surrounding yourself with the right ones. If toxic people drain you, then positive people do the opposite. They uplift you, inspire you, and make success feel effortless. Here's how to improve your life through the right associations. If you're naturally anxious, befriend those who are calm and grounded. If you're often pessimistic, surround yourself with optimists. If you tend to isolate yourself, connect with the socially confident. Your mindset is shaped by those around you, so choose wisely. Stay away from the infected, and instead align yourself with the fortunate, the happy, and the strong. Law 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. In the early 1600s, King Louis XIII of France was in a difficult position. He was young, inexperienced, and overshadowed by his mother Marie Dicey, who ruled as regent. The country was in turmoil. Nobles rebelled, enemies loomed, and the king lacked control. Enter Cardinal Richelieu. Brilliant strategist and political mastermind. At first, He was just an advisor rather than overpowering the king. He quietly wove himself into every critical decision. He handled foreign policy, crushed noble uprisings, and orchestrated military campaigns all in the king's name. Louis XIII may have worn the crown, but Richelieu was the one truly ruling France. And yet the cardinal was careful. He never taught Louis too much. The king remained dependent on his guidance, unable to function without him. If people rely on you for their success, their security, or their happiness, they will never let you go. The more they depend on you, the more control you have. But if they realize they can function without you, you become disposable. So here are 10 ways to make yourself indispensable. Seek out weak leaders. Powerful rulers don't need you, but weak ones do. Align yourself with those in power who lack direction or strength. Become their missing piece. Make people think they need you. True power is subtle. It's about making people believe they can't function without you. Subtly create dependence, so they think losing you would be a disaster. Immerse yourself in their work. The more a leader relies on your expertise, the harder it becomes to replace you. Handle complex tasks only you understand. Possess an irreplaceable skill. If you offer something unique, whether it's a rare talent, deep knowledge, or specialized skill, people will hesitate to cut you out. Make yourself impossible to replace. Always have other options. When people know you have alternatives, they will fight to keep you. Never rely on just one source of power. Keep a backup plan. Appear to have specialized knowledge. Sometimes perception is more powerful than reality. Maintain an air of expertise, so that others believe they can't function without you, even if your knowledge isn't as deep as they think. Wrap yourself around the source of power. Weave yourself so deeply into key figures and systems that removing you would cause disruption. If cutting you out creates more problems than keeping you, become too valuable to lose. Use secret intelligence. Knowing people's secrets makes you invaluable, but also dangerous. This is a double-edged sword. Use it wisely or paranoia may turn against you. Don't expect love, expect fear. People who depend on you don't have to like you, they just have to fear losing you. Love is fleeting, but the fear of loss is powerful. Create mutual dependency. The best position is one of shared reliance. They need you, but you also have some level of control over them. This way you stay in control without bearing the full weight of leadership. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. For 10 years, the Greeks failed to conquer Troy. The city's massive walls and skilled warriors made it impenetrable. Every attack was repelled, every strategy failed. But instead of brute force, the Greeks turned to deception. One day they vanished, their ships gone, their camps abandoned. In their place stood a massive wooden horse left as a supposed gift to the gods. Some warned, trapped but blinded by pride, the Trojans believed it was an offering of surrender. They dragged it inside their walls, celebrating their victory. That night, Greek warriors hidden inside the horse crept out and opened the city gates. The Greek army waiting nearby stormed in, destroying the city in hours. Troy, which had withstood a decade of war, fell not by force, but by a well-placed act of apparent generosity. People are naturally suspicious, always on guard for deception, but ironically this makes a well-placed act of honesty even more powerful. When one appears sincere, especially when it's unexpected, it catches others off guard. This is called selective honesty. Gain trust early, and people will overlook or rationalize any deception. Hat follows. Here are 7 ways to make honesty your ultimate weapon to disarm anyone. Appear honest at the right moment. A well-timed display of sincerity makes people drop their defenses, even if you've been dishonest before. One act of apparent honesty can erase doubts. Give before you take. People expect hidden motives, but a gift with